Hello everyone, welcome back. So today we are going to learn about random numbers. So in our previous video, what we have learned till now syntax, escape sequence, operators, variables, if and else statement, string, and in our last video we learned about loops. So today we are learning random numbers. If any chance you missed and didn't see any previous video before, there is the link of the playlist in the description box. So please go through the link and watch those videos so you don't miss or don't confuse with anything that I explain. So let's start today's session. So random numbers, that's basically is not a function, it's a built-in module in Python. Uh, so what module is? Module carries lots of function inside it. So when you import module in your coding, so then you can call all the methods, all the functions that module carries. So here we are going to use random module to make random numbers. So random numbers basically is a float numbers that generate numbers randomly from 0 to 1 by default if you just call random. These particular type of functions is we use generally to make games, to generate random numbers in games, for example guessing game, dice rolling game, or you can say for lottery or any application required a random number generation. So first, what we need to do, we need to import that module in our coding before starting it. So that's the word we use, import, to call the module. So first we import by import, letter import, and then the name of the module. If we write just import random, then we need to define random before, then dot. After that we will call the function. So for example, if we are calling random function, so it will be random dot random we will call. But if you write from random, that means from random module, we are importing everything whatever inside it. From random import asterisk. So that means you don't need to write random every time. You can just call the functions without writing random dot. So let's use both the things and see what happens. So first we are calling import. We are importing random by import random. These are different methods, different functions that a random module carries and we can use. So here first the seed function. Seed function initialize random number, and the random number it initializes, it freezes that number. Every time you run it, you get the same number again and again. Get state returns the current internal state of the random number generator. Set state restores the internal state of the random number generator. So there are the method names is here and its description. So you please go through it, and if you find any difficulty to understand this, please write me in the comment box and I will explain you with example. So first we are going to use random function to generate a floating point number from 0 to 1. So that because we just did import random, we didn't use from random import because it's in the comment. It's not the code that we run. So we are using print random dot random. If you don't want to do this, you don't need to use this, just use from random import asterisk, and then you can use print random. So here when we run this program, we get a number from 0 to 1 in decimal in floating point. So if you run it again, it will show you another number. If you run it again, it will show you another number because it is generating any random number from 0 to 1. It's not a fix. To get a fixed, a freezing number, to get the same number again and again, we use seed method. So we have defined it the value 5. So if we define it value 5, let's see what we get. We get 0.062290, that's written here as well. And if we run it again, we'll get the same number again. If we run it again, we'll get the same number again. So what seed function do? Seed function freezes that number for you, and you will get the same number again and again. Random.randint. So as I told you, with random function, you get number in float data type. But to get value in whole numbers, in integer value, you use int function. So int function gives you number from 1 to 100. So when you define it, as I told you, I'm using import random. That's why I'm using random dot randint. And in the parentheses, you need to give a parameter from starting point and the stop point, ending point. By default, the number is always 1 here. And you need to, if you are defining that, it will show you only those numbers that starts and that ends that you have defined here. So I'm defining 1 to 100. Again, I'm using random dot randint. If we run it, it is giving you 95. If we run it again, it will give you another number. As I told you, it's a random number generator. So here the next method we are using, it's rand range. So in our previous videos we learned how to use range in a loop as well. So it's kind of same. You have a starting point, you have a ending point, and then you have a step. A step is optional if you want to give or not. So if you run it, random dot rand range, or if you are using from random import asterisk, you are calling all the functions, then you can skip random dot here. So I'm asking numbers from 3 and ending point is 50. So it's giving me 47. If I run it again, 44. If I run it again, 36. If I run it again, 4. So it can be any number. It generates random number, as I told you. Random.choice returns a randomly selected element from the specific sequence. So here you give a sequence, and from that sequence, from your selected sequence, it brings randomly any element from that sequence. It can be a string, it can be a list, it can be a tuple. So it can be any sequence. The thing is, we don't need to give starting or ending point here. We need to mention only the sequence name here, from which sequence you want to pick the element. For example, here I have given my name Sugandh Bansal, and I am printing choice string. That means I want from that string any character, any element from that string. It will give you one string at one element at a time. So if I, it's L. If I run it again, it's giving a space because there is a blank space here. If I run it again, it's A. So randomly it will take any character, any letter from here, and then it will print it. There is one more function that is called choices. Remember, first one was choice and this one is choices. So what choices do? It will return you a list. If you don't give a particular element, like how many elements, how many items you want from that sequence, then what it will do, it will give you only one element in a list. But if you define, like I want 4 elements, 5 elements, 2 elements from that string or from that sequence, then it will give you that number of elements in the result in a list. So if we run it, let's see what happens. So here I have written k shows the number of elements you want in that list. So I write k equals to 4. So it gave me 4 elements from the sequence string. So it's L A A U. I hope you get it. If there is any confusion, in understanding these functions? Please write in the comment box and I'll explain it with more examples. Please read the methods I have explained, I have written in the list here. If you find any difficulty in understanding these lists, please let me know in the comment box and I'll try to explain it. If you like this video, please press the like button and subscribe it. And for notification, please press the bell icon as well. So you get the notification as I post my new video. Thank you for today and keep learning, keep practicing. There is any doubt, please write it in the comment box and share it as well. Thank you. Have a nice day.